Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome to Scrubs and Savings. I'm a 21-year-old nursing student documenting my financial journey here on YouTube. And today we are doing a September money reset. Now, August was a very weird month, so let's just hop into it. So, looking at my income, I made $1,087.15 net. So that was $1.57 from my Apple cashback, $217.79 from my hospital job, $35.26 from my Ally Money Market account, and then $832.53 from my doctor's office job. And as you can see in my expenses, my total net income was negative $6,743.08, and we will get to why that is so high right now. So if you're new here, I live with my parents and they pay for all of my necessities, including my car loan. So that loan was originally a $22,032, 6.29% 5-year loan for my 2021 Toyota RAV4, which I previously leased for 3 years. So I was saving up money to pay off the loan by the time I moved out in sometime a few years from now. However, I discussed with my dad and I asked him if it is possible for me to pay off the loan early and I would have to pay penalties, and I was just like, okay, no thank you. So then I checked on a auto loan amortization calculator, and I found that if I used all the cash that I had on hand for my car and paid off the principal for August and then put $140 per month to the loan with my own money, that I would have it paid off by the time that I moved out. So my total spending for the month was $7,830.23, with $6,829.83 of that being towards the car loan. I also put the loan onto my YNAB budget. So for those of you that don't know, I use the budgeting platform. You need a budget to manage all of my money. So to accurately track this car loan, I actually put it in, and my total monthly target of $573 would allow me to pay off the loan by September 2026. So my minimum payment is $433, which my dad will do for me, and then I will be putting $140 towards a loan per month, as I stated before. So that is a very big change to my budget, but it will help me remain motivated to keep putting money towards this auto loan. After putting in the loan, I also put in the estimated Kelley Blue Book value of my car in here as well to make my net worth a little more accurate. So then let's go back to the reports. My next highest spend category was my travel category, as I went on a 10-day road trip with my partner across the United States. I did film, and I'm in the middle of getting all of the information together for how much that trip specifically costs. So look out for that video. Hopefully I can get it up in the next couple of weeks or so. But the $634.14 is what I spent on my cards, and then I also still have to reimburse my partner for everything that he paid for. So it's not an accurate amount of what I really spent during the trip. So again, stay tuned for that video because I think it will be really interesting. So then my next highest spend category after that is my Treat People with Kindness. I donated to the 3 charities that I normally donate to, and then I also put $10 towards a political campaign, and then I also got my friend a birthday gift. My next high spend category was for my boyfriend. So I got him a scrapbook for our anniversary, I've been making scrapbooks of photos from the past year that we've been together for the past 2 years. So I'm going to do the same thing for our anniversary this year. And we also went on a date. We went to a Yoga in the Sunflowers event, which we split the cost for. And then we also got B-dubs that night, which I reimbursed him for. And then in my life admin, which is pretty much my subscriptions category. So if you've been watching my videos, you would know that I normally don't have a YouTube Premium subscription. I thought I was signing up for a free trial, but apparently I didn't, so I had to pay $20.13 for YouTube Premium. It was worth it because I was downloading videos to watch offline during our trip because a lot of it, we didn't have signal for a lot of it, and I wanted entertainment, and my main form of entertainment is from YouTube, so I hopefully will never make that mistake again. And then I paid for my normal iCloud subscription, my New York Times subscription, as well as Spotify. And August will be the last time I am paying for Spotify Premium, as I don't really use the features to justify the spend, even though it's only $5.99 a month. I completely skipped over my me category, so let's go in there. I spent $17.60 to go to brunch with one of my friends for her birthday, and I paid $1.85 for the parking downtown. And then we went and saw Inside. My partner and I went and saw Inside Out 2, which was actually incredible. I would highly recommend if you enjoyed the first movie and haven't seen the second one. So that was $13. And then lastly, this month I went shopping. I went to Salvation Army and I got one skirt, one pair of shorts, and a dress that I thought was a skirt, but that's all right. I wanted to buy a few things as I am going to the Philippines in December, and I currently do not have enough weather appropriate bottoms to wear during that trip. I literally only have one pair of jean shorts and then a few athletic shorts, and that's it. And we will be there for 3 weeks, so I didn't feel so bad going to the thrift store and buying a couple of weather appropriate pieces, because $13.48 to keep me comfortable during that trip is totally worth the money. And then lastly, you can barely see the slice here, but I did spend $14.99 on my gym membership. And lastly, for my savings and investments, I saved $37.50 for my Christmas gifts fund, $100 for my apartment fund, $200 for my travel fund, $100 for my emergency fund, and then I invested $82.06 to my brokerage account, as well as $5 and $5 towards my down payment fund. As for my 2024 financial goals, one of them was to make $1,000 from extra income. So in August, I received $1.57 in cash back and $35.26 from interest from my high yield savings account, for a total of $36.83. I already achieved the $1,000 mark last month, so now I'm currently at $1,083.48 in extra income this year. My next goal is to make $15,000 in net income, and we already went over my income as well as my extra income, and I made $1,087.15 this month, which just put me over my goal of $15,000. So far this year, I have made $15,271.19 in net income, and we are only, I say only, but it's crazy to me that we are 2/3 of the way done with 2024. I already maxed out my Roth IRA, and I did contribute $82.06 towards my brokerage account, which puts me at 96.72% of the way to my goal. I also put a 403B tracking section in here, and at the end of August, my 403B was at $1,605.77. And as for my 50-30-20 split, I put $6,829.23 towards my needs. I don't know if you would put an extra debt payment down as needs, but that's just how I have it right now. I spent $1,000.40 on wants. I saved $472.50, and then I invested $1,629.54, which includes my 403B contribution, as well as the $82.06 to my brokerage account and the $5 to my down payment fund. So that would be 68.8% towards needs, 10.1% on wants, 4.8% on savings, and 16.4% on investments. As for my net worth, I had $30.46 in my credit union account, which was a modest increase of 37 cents from July. I had $1,781.28 in my Chase account, $1,850.57 from my Ally High Yield Savings account. It's kind of a bummer to see this decrease so much, but I know that it went towards debt payment as well as my travel this month, so that's what I saved the money for, and I used the majority of my savings from that account this month. And then in my Ally Money Market account, I have $1,200, which was an increase of $95. And then I have $36.18 in cash. As you saw before, I am now including my RAV4 as well as the car loan into my net worth. So the RAV4, according to Kelley Blue Book, is worth $25,604. My land in the Philippines, I just keep at $2,500. My balance in my 403B, as I said before, was $1,605.77. My balance in my Roth IRA increased $702.93, so it's now at $20,114.59. I invested $82.06 into my brokerage, and it is now at $14,037.61. And lastly, for my assets, I invested $5 to my down payment fund, and now it's at $52.68. So my total assets are at $68,813.14. And obviously the big jump was from me including my car in my net worth. And then as for my liabilities, it's mainly my credit cards. So at the end of the month, I still had $111.05 on my Apple card, $0 on my Chase Freedom card, $235.33 on my Sabre One card, and $379.31 on my Chase Freedom Unlimited. And then as for my car loan, it's currently at $13,292.67. So my total debt is $14,018.36. So my total net worth is $54,794.78, which was a total amount change of $8,074.74 and a percentage increase of 17.28%. And then looking at my dashboard, 52% of my assets are invested, 40.8% is now in physical assets due to my car, and 7.1% is in cash. And then obviously the majority of my assets are in my retirement accounts. My physical assets are in my land in the Philippines and the RAV4, and then all of my cash is in And the majority of my cash is in my high yield savings account and in my money market account. And lastly, we will go over how September's budget is looking so far. So I am going to start including goals into my money resets. They're probably going to stay the same for a little bit, but my goals right now are to save $415.39 for my emergency fund, $161.54 for my apartment fund, and continue investing $82.06 in my brokerage account. So we're just going to go category by category. I have my $140 set aside for my extra payment on the car note, and I already funded my little car maintenance fund. Everything for giving is funded. All of my subscriptions are funded. And as for the negative $346, I put all of my school expenses onto my Apple Card, and then I just get reimbursed by my dad. So I did put one of my school expenses on there already, so it's just in my reimbursements. Everything for my fitness and health category is funded. I put $1 towards my wedding fund. Obviously nothing's funded towards my savings and investments, as I use my paychecks within the month to do that. And then my me category is fully funded, and I already got charged my CapCut Pro subscription. My boyfriend's category is also fully funded. And then as for my travel category, I currently have $428.81 saved for my trip to Chicago in October, which is coming up so soon. $46.68 for my trip to the Philippines, and $90 for our road trip once we graduate. I still have $300 in my travel tracking account so that I can reimburse my boyfriend for gas and the rental car and everything else that he paid for. And then I put $1 towards all my little tiny funds here, and I currently have $1.27 towards a SpectraLink phone case and clip. That's it for my reset today. It's so much longer than normal, but I had so much to tell you guys. But if you watch all the way through, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.